everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me for today's Yoga in Our City virtual class for beginners. My name is Kate, and this class is going to focus on processing our previous year, 2023, and setting a foundation with strong intentions for our upcoming year of 2024. We'll be continuing to practice treating our body with care. Please consult a medical practitioner before engaging in any exercise, including yoga, with any questions or concerns. This is particularly important if you are pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or have any pre-existing medical conditions. With this yoga practice and with any yoga practice that you participate in, it's important to keep in mind that yoga is your practice, which means it's more important to pay attention to how each pose feels within the body versus what it looks like on the outside. So even though I will be modeling each pose through the screen in my space, your body never has to look like me or anyone else. If you feel something that resembles pain, which can sometimes show up as a burning, throbbing, stabbing, tingling, or numbing sensation, that's your body's way of talking to you and telling you that that pose doesn't work for you. You can try it a different way, perhaps making a modification or adding props, or you can exit the pose entirely, coming into a different pose of your choice. As you will see, I've been practicing with a few props today. I have a mat, I have a blanket, and I have 2 blocks. Feel free to use any props that best work for you. And at some point today, I will also be using a wall. Okay, with that said, I think we can begin. And I invite you to find a comfortable grounding posture to begin this class together today. And the key word is comfortable. So if you know that seated is not comfortable for you, perhaps you choose to stand or even lie down on your mat, on your back. And if seated is comfortable for you, perhaps you choose to sit on a chair or a prop of some sort to elevate the hips above the knees. It can help make a seat a little bit easier. And just take a moment to notice wherever you are, lying down, standing, or seated, where your body's making contact with the earth. So if you're standing, maybe you rock front to back on the feet. If you're lying down, maybe you bring your awareness to the points of contact on your back or back side of the body. And if you're seated, maybe you rock front to back, side to side, to see where the sit bones are making contact with the surface. And on the inhale, elongate the spine. Whether you're seated, standing, or lying down, you can envision there's an invisible string and it's gently pulling your head up towards the sky. And on the exhale, draw the shoulders away from ears. And if it's comfortable to do so, gently close the eyes. If eyes closed is not comfortable for you, find a focal point, your gaze, your drishti, and set it upon a spot that's not moving and gently relax the eyelids around that spot. And I invite you to bring one hand over heart center and then the other hand over that hand. If this is not comfortable for you, you can choose to keep the hands down by the side or anywhere else on the body that best works for you. But for our processing and intention setting today, it can sometimes be helpful to bring our awareness to the heart center using the hands. It also helps release endorphins, makes you feel good just with this action. So if you're ever in need, sometimes this can help. With our next few rounds of natural breath, without changing your breath in any way, I invite you to acknowledge whatever comes up for you when I say, what happened in 2023? What was your year like? And don't filter what comes up, just acknowledge what does. Notice if you can acknowledge what happened in 2023 without assigning labels or emotions to them. For example, without labeling them as good things, bad things, positive, negative. And now I invite you to shift your attention to what you're grateful for that happened in 2023, or what you received in 2023, what you would like to continue to have in your life throughout this next year. Could be a person, could be a place, could be a quality, could have been an experience, could have been a lesson. There's no right or wrong answers to any of these, just acknowledging what's true for you. And now I invite you to envision your best self, whatever that means for you. If you are a visual person, perhaps you choose to visualize this prompt. What are you doing when you're your best self? Where are you when you are your best self? What does your best self look like, feel like, speak like? And now identify some key qualities or traits that your best self has. Maybe these are traits you don't necessarily fully embody yet, but you'd like to. For example, patience, kindness, strength, motivation. What does your best self have that you would like to embody more of? Next, we'll turn that quality or trait into a mantra. Excuse me. We'll start by saying, I am, and then add that quality or trait that you just thought of. For example, I am patient, or I am kind, or I am thoughtful, I am strong, I am motivated, I am independent. Whatever it is, whatever those qualities were or quality was that you envisioned your best self as, speak that to yourself either out loud or inside over and over and over again. And maybe you have more than one quality. You'd like to say 2 mantras or 3 or 4, as many as you'd like, and keep repeating them to yourself. Anytime throughout this practice, if anything is challenging, present moment or in the future, in your week ahead, you can always return to these mantras. This mantra is your guidepost for your best self and what you envision or hope for the upcoming year. And we'll take 3 last full rounds of breath, deepening our breath, bringing our awareness to the breath, but continuing to speak those mantras to ourselves. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, filling the belly, the rib cage, and the chest with breath. And then releasing the breath out through the nose from the chest, the rib cage, and the belly. 2 more breaths just like that, fully and deeply in and out through the nose, directing the breath deep into the belly, opening up that rib cage and diaphragm. Speaking those mantras to yourself. One last breath in through the nose, filling the belly, the rib cage, and the chest with breath. Then releasing the breath out through the nose from the chest, the rib cage, and the belly. When you've completed your 3rd round of 3-part breath, you can return the hands down by the sides, carefully open the eyes, and take a moment to look around your external environment first, warming up the eyes, maybe doing circles with them, readjusting to the lights of the room if your eyes were closed. And then we'll carefully make our way to a comfortable seated posture. So if you're standing or lying down, join us in a comfortable seat. And if you were seated on a prop, perhaps you remove that prop for these next few movements, but if sitting on the ground is not comfortable for you, I invite you to sit in a chair throughout these seated practices as we warm up our body. We'll begin with our neck and our shoulders. Inhale, lift the chin up towards the ceiling, stretching the front of the neck. And on the exhale, make a slow and big neck circle with the head, making this as big as you feel you need today. If your neck is sore or you're tight in your shoulders, acknowledge that, adjust your practice. All of these little warm ups we do in the seated position before we begin our standing practice is an opportunity for us to check in with our body so that we can adjust our practice as we need. When you're ready, take the next circle the opposite direction, noticing what's here in this space, the neck, the shoulders. And we'll return our head to a center position and do shoulder circles now. On the inhale, the shoulders come up towards the ears. Exhale them down and back. Making the shoulder circles slow and big if you can. Noticing what's here. Taking them the opposite direction. And then bringing our hands to our knees. We're going to do some seated cat and cow and some circles with our torso. On the inhale, pull on the knees, bringing the chest forward, lifting the chin up to the sky for a seated cow. And on the exhale, tuck the chin to the chest, press the shoulder blades away from the body like you're trying to get them to touch that back wall for a seated cat pose. Inhale, come forward for cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine, cat. Inhale, come forward, cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine, cat. Do 3 more of these to the pace of your own breath, going as fast or as slow as you need. Noticing what's here in the spine. And when you're done with your third, return to that nice long tall spine, and we'll come in through cow position and then start to do a circle with our torso. Imagine your seat is the center point and you're making a circle with your torso around that. So you're actually coming in through cow and out through cat pose a few times. You can make this as big or as small as you'd like. If you'd like to add some head movement, you can. If you'd like to go faster, you can. Take this as an opportunity to intuitively listen to what your body's asking for and listen to it. And when you're ready, take the circles the opposite direction. And when you've completed a circle, come to that long, tall spine again. With the legs crisscrossed, we're inhaling the left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale it over towards the right side body. We're going to flow here back and forth a little bit. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, the right arm comes up and over the left side body. Inhale up, switch the arms out. Exhale over. Keeping both sit bones as we do this mini flow from left to right. Keep the sit bones pressed firm into the mat. Notice what's here to notice about the side body. And one more with the left arm up and over the right side body. Now we're going to pause here. Pressing that left sit bone into the mat. And if it naturally pops up like this, use that right hand to support you. Use it as a kickstand. You can straighten it any amount to support your practice. You don't even have to be any amount over towards the right side. It doesn't matter. It matters what it feels like on the inside, not what it looks like on the outside. So honor what's true for you and adjust your practice accordingly. You need to bring the hand the right hand to a prop, you can as well. And then continue that deep belly breath. See if you can engage in that deep breath and continue the mantra that you set for yourself for this practice and this year in each of these poses. On the inhale, use the left hand to pull yourself back up to center, but keep it reaching up to the sky above. Exhale, bring it across your body, grabbing onto your right knee. Right hand comes behind you. Gentle twist open towards the right. Perhaps you're gazing over the right shoulder if it feels okay in the neck. Notice what it feels like to breathe deep into the belly here. On the inhale, grow a little bit taller. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, grow a little bit taller. And exhale, return back to center. Change the cross of your legs. Make it the awkward or uncomfortable way. And we'll set up for the opposite side. Inhale, the right arm comes up to the ceiling. Exhale it over the left side body. We're going to flow back and forth here. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale it over the right side body. Moving to the pace of your own breath. Inhale, you move up. Exhale, you move over. One more. And the next time your right arm is up overhead, reaching towards the left side of your space, keep that left hand firm on the mat. We'll pause here, pressing both sit bones into the mat. Breathing deeply into the belly, lightly, gently lift the chin and chest, open up the front of the rib cage. When you notice about the right side body, anytime your mind wanders, you can choose to bring it back to the mantra. Inhale, use that right hand to pull you back up to center. Keep it reaching up to the sky above. Exhale, bring it across your body, grabbing onto your left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Gently twist open to the left. Maybe you're choosing to gaze over the left shoulder if it feels okay in the neck. Continuing to deepen those breaths into the belly. The awareness of our core and our breath are foundational to our entire physical asana practice. Inhale, grow a little bit taller. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, grow a little bit taller. And exhale, release back to center. Making our way onto our hands and knees for tabletop. If you're practicing on a hard surface like I am, I invite you to cushion the knees. And if you have sensitive knees and this position is not possible for you, you can do these poses in a seated position or even a standing position with your hands on a prop like the back of a chair. So again, feel free to adjust your practice as you need to feel comfortable. If you are in tabletop, knees beneath hips, wrists beneath shoulders, take a moment to notice what the pelvis is doing. Notice if you are in extension, your tailbone sticking up towards the ceiling, or if you are in flexion, perhaps your tailbone's tucking under, and see if you can consciously neutralize the pelvis, stabilizing the spine by engaging the core here. Imagine tucking the navel or the belly button up and in. And then we'll do a few cat and cow here in this position. On the inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin for cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine for cat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin, cow. Exhale, tuck the chin, round the spine, cat. 3 more to the pace of your own breath, going as fast or as slow as you need. Adding in any extra movements that you need as well, moving intuitively. When you're done with your third, finding stillness in tabletop, engage the core. On the inhale, send the right leg out behind you, flexing the foot, engaging the thigh, balancing table. Gazing down in between both hands, notice if this is enough of a balancing challenge. If it is, you can stay right here. If it's too much, you can use a wall that's around you and press your heel into the wall. If it's not enough, you can inhale the left arm up by the left ear. Opposite arm, opposite leg. You're a human tug of war. Someone's pulling that left wrist and right ankle in opposite directions. Engage the core. Wrap the navel up and in towards the spine. And exhale, release the hand to the mat and slowly release the knee to the mat. Repositioning your table if you need to. We'll set up for the opposite side. On the inhale, send the left leg out behind you, pressing the heel away from the body, flexing the foot, engaging the thigh. Again, same thing on this side. If this is too much, maybe use the wall behind you and press the heel into the wall. If this is not enough, inhale the right arm up by the right ear. Balancing table, opposite arm, opposite leg. Human tug of war. Keep breathing, embrace the shake. Engage the core. Our core is our foundation. Exhale, release the left hand to the mat and slowly release the right knee to the mat. Inhale, send the right foot back behind you again. Flex the foot, only hold it here for a moment, and then bring that right foot out by the right hip. I'm going to reposition myself in my space so that you can see me on camera. This is what it looks like. If you have blocks available, you might find them helpful here underneath the hands, because we're going to slowly engage the core to come to an upright position for gate pose. So the right leg is out alongside the right hip. Inhale, the left arm comes up towards the sky, and then gently reach it over the right leg. You can use that right hand to support you. Opening up the left side body. Inhale, the left arm back up to center. Exhale, reach it towards the mat. This is where the prop can come in handy if you can't quite get it to the mat. As you inhale the right arm up overhead. Supported rainbow. Engage the core here. The core is where the power comes from to pull yourself back up to center. Exhale, return the hands to the mat. And slowly bring the right knee back to meet the left in table. Opposite side, inhale, send the left leg out behind you. Flex the foot, hold it here for only a moment before bringing the left foot out towards the left side of the mat. On the inhale, engage the core to come to an upright position, gate pose. Inhale the right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring it over the left leg. The left hand can support you if you need it. Inhale, right arm back up to center. Exhale, right hand comes down to the mat or a prop. Left hand comes up overhead. Engage that core. This is where the power comes from. To inhale the torso back up to center. Exhale, return both hands back to the mat. And then slowly return the left knee to meet the right in table. Keeping our hips where they are, walk the hands forward, slowly bringing the forehead towards the direction of the mat. And if the forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can rest it on a prop of some sort, maybe a pillow, a blanket, a block. Coming into heart-melting pose or puppy pose, opening up the shoulders and the chest. The higher the hips are, the more stress, the more pressure this might put on the upper body. So if it's too much, you can always explore lowering the hips any amount that feels comfortable for you. You can also do this standing with your hands on a piece of furniture. Bringing your awareness to the shoulders and the chest. Noticing what you notice here. Notice if you're clenching any muscles. And with every exhale, see if you can soften in spaces that aren't currently soft. Inhale, add some weight to the hands to slowly pull yourself back into table. Bring the big toes to touch behind you and widen the knees so they're wider than the hips any amount. Exhale, sink the hips over the heels, walking the hands forward, bringing the forehead to the mat for child's pose. Same thing in this pose. If the forehead doesn't come to the mat naturally, you can place it on a prop. You can do this on a bolster or a cushion to support the torso. If this is too much pressure on the hips or the inside lines of the legs, you can bring the knees together any amount to feel safe and supported in your body. And if it's too much pressure on the knees, you can do this lying down on the back. Same thing in this pose. Notice if you are clenching any muscles, inner lines of the legs, the belly, the shoulders. And if you are, with every exhale, see if you can give yourself permission to release, relax, let go. Maybe you're choosing to consciously let go of something that happened last year, something you don't want to bring with you. Let it go mentally, let it go physically. On the inhale, add some weight to the hands to slowly pull yourself back into tabletop, returning the knees beneath the hips, wrists beneath the shoulders. Curl the toes on the mat behind you. Inhale, send the hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. It's the first one of the practice, so take a moment to very carefully and mindfully walk out the legs, bending one knee at a time, or both knees at the same time. Bringing the awareness to the backside body and what messages your body's trying to tell you today. Finding stillness in down dog, take a deep inhale in through the nose and an audible exhale out through the mouth. Maybe you had a sigh. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, whatever works best for you. Coming into ragdoll, feet are about hip width distance apart, allowing the head to hang heavy over the legs. Generous bend in the knees, grabbing opposite elbows, and allow the head to hang heavy. Let gravity do the work here. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck. If it feels good to rock side to side, you might choose to do so. Finding stillness in ragdoll. If you're moving, exhale, release the hands. And on the inhale, we're going to roll up to a standing position as slow as you possibly can. Imagine yourself moving as slow as a zombie, one vertebra at a time. Avoiding the head rush, and then coming to stand in the center of your mat in Tadasana, mountain pose, feet together, arms by the side, palms facing forward. You can keep the eyes open or close them if that's comfortable for you, taking a moment to acknowledge what your body was telling you during those warm-up poses together. Take a moment to return to your mantra, your intention for this practice or your intention for this year. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. We're going to begin our standing sequence. On the inhale, the arms make their way up overhead. The head follows the hands. Exhale, hands make their way to heart center. Linking the movement to the breath, just like we did in our seated poses together. So for the entirety of the inhale, the hands are moving up. And then as you begin your exhale, the hands start to make their way to heart center. One more, just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up, reach up. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. Inhale, just the right arm up towards the sky. Left hand comes to hip. Reach the right arm up and over the left side body. Any amount. We're just looking for a mild stretch along the whole right side of the body, just like we did in our seated practice, only now we're standing. Inhale, make that right arm back up to center. Grow nice and tall. Exhale, switch those hands out. Left hand comes up, right hand comes to hip. Exhale, reach the left arm up and over the right side body. Inhale, use that core to lift The left hand back up to center. Right hand comes up to meet the left. Interlace the fingers, release the pointer tip finger, point up to the sky like you're trying to touch the ceiling. Engage the core here. Suck that navel up and in, and then exhale, take it back just a little bit, even if you just look up at the sky. Micro back bend. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Your hands can be on the mat. Blocks your shins or your thighs as you lift the chin and chest. Look forward, lock out the knees and elbows. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, press down through all four corners of the feet to rise to stand all the way up. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. You can do that same sequence again if the hands on the hips were helpful for you, or if you'd like to engage more of your core. We're going to inhale both arms up towards the ceiling, interlace the fingers, release the pointer tip finger up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, take it over to the right. Engage the core here. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, take both hands over to the left. Inhale, back up to center. Again, engage that core, grow nice and tall. Exhale, take it back a little bit, maybe a little bit more than you did before. Engage that core though, so we're not dumping in our low spine. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on mat. Block shins, thighs as you lift the chin and chest. Look forward. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, root down through all four corners of the feet to rise to stand all the way up. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. Coming to the top of our mat, it might be helpful for you if you're using blocks to bring them to the top of the mat with you in case you need them. Tadasana, feet together, arms by the side, hands, palms facing forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on mat, block shins, thighs as you lift the chin and chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands to the mat, walk the feet back, coming into plank pose. Knees can be off of the mat or on the mat. Your choice for plank. Wherever you are, press up and into the shoulder blades. Tuck the tailbone under, engage the core. We're going to hold this plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift the chin and chest, keeping the hands beneath the shoulders. Squeeze the legs together. You no longer have 2 legs. Imagine yourself having a tail. Squeeze those legs together. Keep the feet on the mat. Lift the chin and chest. Engage that low spine. If you want to see if you're engaging the spine or if you're using your arm muscles, you can challenge yourself to bring the hands off of the mat here. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Bring the hands beneath the shoulders, curl the toes on the mat behind you. Inhale, engage those arms to press back up through plank and into downward facing dog. Big inhale through the nose. Big exhale out through the mouth. Maybe it's audible. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, whatever works for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on mat, block shins, thighs, lift the chin and chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, press down through all 4 corners of the feet to rise to stand all the way up. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. We're going to do one more just like that. Surya Namaskar prep. Inhale, arms up, look up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on mat, block shins, thighs, lift the chin and chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees, hands come to the mat, walk the feet back behind you, coming into plank. Knees off the mat or knees on the mat, your choice. Engage that core. Embrace the shake. Embrace your mantra. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra, engage that spine, lift the chin and chest, squeeze the legs together. Exhale, torso comes down, hands come beneath the shoulders. Curl the toes on the mat behind you. Inhale, press back through plank and into downward facing dog. Big inhale through the nose. Big exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, your choice. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Hands can be on mat block, shin size. Lift the chin and chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, press down through all four corners of the feet to rise to stand. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. Bringing the hands to the hips, standing at the top of our mat. We're going to come into a crescent lunge by taking a giant step back with the right leg. The hands are on the hips here to help us direct where our hips are in space. We're really going to build up to a warrior 3 posture today where we need to have neutral pelvis, neutral spine. So notice where our hips are in this space. Both hip bones should be facing the front of our mat. The left knee is forward and bent. The right leg is behind us and straight, unless it hurts on the top of the thigh, and then you can add any amount of bend in that back knee. If you have your balance here and you're engaging your core to keep the balance, inhale, both arms come up towards the ceiling. Exhale, cactus arms, bend those elbows, lift the chin, look up at the sky. Inhale, arms back up to center. Exhale, drop the right heel to the mat as our hips now shift open towards the right edge of the mat. So if we turn the hands to the hips, we can feel how they've now opened up towards the longer edge of the mat. If you have your balance and your core is engaged, hands come out by the sides, palms facing down, gazing over the left hand. Notice what that left knee is doing. Intentionally try to pull it over towards the left edge of the mat. We're going to pulse here. Inhale, arms up, look up, reach up as we straighten that left leg. Exhale, sink back, warrior 2. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up, reach up. Exhale, warrior 2. 1 more. Inhale, arms up, look up, reach up. And exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Coming into triangle pose or trikonasana, we're going to consciously press our hips towards the back edge of our mat. Reach that left hand as far forward as it will comfortably go. Notice how this feels in the front leg. And then hinge at the waist. So you can bring this left hand to a block. You can bring it to a piece of furniture. You can bring it to your thigh. You can bring it to the inside of the left ankle. Choosing a position of your triangle that best supports you, remembering we're not trying to harm our body, we're trying to help our body. So if you're feeling pain, adjust the pose any way you need. Notice what the breath is doing and where your mind is, maybe returning to that mantra you set for yourself. Inhale, bend that left knee to slowly press yourself back into warrior 2. Gazing over those left fingers, straighten the left knee. Bring the left toes so they're parallel with the right. We're facing the right edge of our mat now. Our feet are wider than our hips, any amount that best works for us. Interlace the hands behind the body. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep a lift in the chin and chest. As we exhale, we're going to hinge forward any amount until we start to feel the back side of our body opening up. And when you do, you can pause there, or you can bend the knees so we don't hurt the hamstrings or the calves. Bringing our head towards the direction of the mat. If the hands are interlaced and you're reaching them up towards the sky, you might notice gravity start to pull them up and over your head. It's okay if it feels okay for you. You can allow gravity to do that. If this is too much stress in the shoulders, you can grab opposite elbows and allow the hands to rest on the low spine. Inhale, generous bend in the knee, press down through all 4 corners of the feet and use the tension in those hands to help pull yourself back to a standing position. Carefully turn the left toes back towards the front edge of the mat, returning to warrior two, gazing over the left fingertips. Big inhale through the nose here. And on the exhale, windmill the hands down to frame the left foot, coming into runner's lunge. Left foot is forward and bent, right leg is behind you and straight. Add some weight to both hands as we bring the left foot back to meet the right in plank. Knees up or knees down, your choice. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, tuck those elbows in, lift the chin and chest, squeeze the legs together. Keep the feet on the mat. Exhale, lower the torso down, hands come beneath shoulders, curl the toes on the mat behind you. Inhale, press up through plank and into downward facing dog. Big inhale through the nose. Big audible exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet, whatever works best for you. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on mat, block shins or thighs as you lift the chin and chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, press down through all four corners of the feet to rise to stand all the way up. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. I'm going to change the positioning of my body for filming purposes, but you can stay right where you are. Coming into Tadasana at the top of your mat, feet together, arms by the side, palms facing forward. Bringing the hands to the hips. Take a giant step back now with the left leg. Coming into crescent lunge with the right leg forward. Both feet are facing the front of the mat. Both hip bones are squared off towards the front of the mat. The right leg is forward and bent. The left leg is behind you and straight, unless it hurts in the top of the left thigh, in which case you can add a micro bend in that left knee if you need to. Engage the core here. This is a difficult pose to balance in. The core is going to help us balance. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, cactus arms, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you, lift the chin and chest, look up towards the ceiling. Inhale, arms back up to center. Exhale, drop that left heel to the mat, coming into warrior two. Now our hips are squared off towards the left edge of our mat. Gazing over those right fingertips, right leg is forward and bent. Left leg is behind you and straight. We're going to pulse here a little bit. Inhale, arms come up overhead. The head follows the hands, straighten the right knee. Exhale, sink back, warrior two. Two more, just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up, reach up. Exhale, warrior two. One more, inhale, arms up, look up, reach up. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten that right knee. Triangle pose, Trikonasana, pop the left hip as far back as it comfortably can go towards the back wall. Reach that right hand as far forward as it will comfortably go. And then hinge at the waist, bringing that right hand to a block, piece of furniture, your thigh, your shin, the inside of the right ankle. Same thing on this side. More important, what the pose feels like versus what you think it should look like. So honor where you are, honor where your body is and what it's been telling you. Notice what the breath is doing in the mind, returning to that mantra, I am. Inhale, bend the right knee, coming back into warrior two. Take a big inhale through the nose here. Exhale, windmill the hands to frame the right foot, coming into runner's lunge. Right leg is forward and bent, left leg is behind you and straight. Add some weight to both hands. Send the right foot back to meet the left in plank. Knees can be up or knees can be down, your choice. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, squeeze the legs together, lift the chin and chest. Exhale, lower the torso down, hands come beneath the shoulders, curl the toes on the mat behind you. Inhale, press back through plank and into downward facing dog. Big inhale through the nose. Audible exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, look at your hands. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on mat, block, shins, thighs. Lift the chin and chest, look forward. Exhale, forward fold, round over the legs, bend the knees. Inhale, press down through all four corners of the feet to rise to stand all the way up. And exhale, hands make their way to heart center. We're going to do one more standing pose before we do our balancing pose. So returning to the top of the mat, having the blocks available if you need them, returning the hands to the hips. We're going to take a baby step back with the right leg and drop the heel to the mat, just like we did for Warrior Two, but we're keeping our hips squared off towards the front edge of the mat. So this is almost like we're going into a Warrior One position, but our feet are closer together and we're straightening both legs. So my right toes have like a 45-degree angle. They're pointing towards that front right corner, and my left toes are facing the front edge of the mat. And notice how this feels already in your stance. If you need to widen your stance, you can. A very common cue that yoga instructors give are to keep both heels in one line, but that's not necessarily helpful in everyone's body. So notice if that's true for you, and if you need to widen your stance, you can. On the exhale, keeping the hands on the hips, we're going to very slowly hinge forward, keeping a flat back, keeping a lift in the chin and chest. And when you start to feel that pull along the left back side of the leg, we're going to pause there and bring your hands somewhere to support you. So maybe you're on prop, like the back of a piece of furniture or a chair, or blocks, or to the mat. And when you have your hands positioned, we're going to very mindfully engage that left quad, that left thigh, pressing the left hip back and bringing the right hip forward. So it's very common here to want to reach back with that right hip. We want to keep our hips squared off. So to do so, we have to draw that left hip back and bring that right hip forward. And this is a very important thing to feel within the body, that shift in the pelvis and the core, because that same shift is going to help us access better balance in our Warrior Three. On the inhale, engage the core, bringing the hands to the hips and slowly come to stand. Bringing the right foot back to meet the left in Tadasana, top of the mat. I'm switching my position again for filming, but you can stay right where you are. Hands return to the hips. We'll take a giant step back with the left foot. Bringing the left heel, a baby step back. I said giant, I meant baby step back with the left foot. Dropping the heel to the mat. My left toes are pointing towards the front left corner. My right toes are facing the front edge of the mat. And on the exhale, hinge at the waist, keeping those legs until you feel the right to a prop, piece of furniture, or blocks, or the mat, but keep a lift in the chin and chest, keeping a flat back. And we don't want to go too deep in this pose because, again, it's more important to notice the engagement in the core and the pelvis for the purpose of our peak pose today than it is to stretch out the hamstring and the calf. So once you have your hands positioned, we're going to consciously draw that right hip back and bring that left hip forward. And again, it's only a micro shift, but you can feel it in your body if you engage that right quad and hamstring and press that left hip forward. It's very common for us to naturally kind of want to open up towards the left edge here. We want to keep our hips squared. Neutral pelvis, engagement of the core. Inhale, bring the hands to the hips and slowly come to stand all the way up. Returning the left leg to meet the right in Tadasana. And then we're going to set up for our Warrior Three. So I invite you to get to a wall and not be standing on anything that could be slippery. So if you have a blanket or a towel beneath your feet, please remove those. If you have blocks or a piece of furniture available in front of you, I would also recommend that. We're going to do a version on the wall, see how it feels in our body, and if it feels okay, you can choose to move away from the wall. If you want to continue to work on the wall, I invite you to do so today. So we're going to start by coming into almost like a tree. We're shifting our weight into our left leg. We're locking out our left knee. And then we're going to bring the right leg back behind us until it reaches a wall. And you might have to reposition yourself a few times, like I do, to find that exact right position where the heel touches the wall and our hips are still squared. I'm going to keep my hands on my hips because it helps me realize what my pelvis is doing. You might choose to do the same. Once you have your foot on the wall, I want you to challenge yourself to press the heel into the wall. Notice what that hip naturally does when you press the heel. Does it pop open towards the right? If it does, engage that left leg, pull that left hip back, press that right hip forward, and still maintain that press through the heel. It's a lot of work for the legs. It's a lot of work for our hips. Notice what it feels like. And then very carefully bring the right foot down to meet the left. Come back to a standing position. Shake it out if you need to. We're going to set up for the left side. I'm going to keep my hands on the hips. You can choose to do what you'd like with yours. On the inhale, shift the weight into the right leg. Bring the left leg off the mat. And then behind you. And as it comes to the wall behind you, your torso's hinging forward. You don't have to have the head and foot in one line if you're not there yet, but it's moving in that direction. You can keep the hands on the hips or bring them to a piece of furniture or a prop. Hands on hips helps me realize where my hips are in space here. Pressing in through that left heel into the wall. Notice where your hips are. Consciously bring that right hip back and draw that left hip forward. Keeping a neutral pelvis. Notice what muscles have to fire up to keep you in this pose here. And exhale, bring the left foot to meet the right and slowly come up to stand. You can shake it out if you need to. If you'd like to do another with your foot on the wall, I invite you to do so. If you want to go right into a non-supported warrior 3, you can do that as well. Wherever you are, start with your feet together. Shift your weight into your right leg. And exhale, bring that left leg back behind you. Notice what the hips are doing. Press through that right heel. Keep a lift in the chin and chest. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward. And release the left leg. Shake it out if you need to, setting up for the opposite side. Shift the weight into the left leg. Bring the right leg out behind you. Pressing into that right heel in the wall. Draw that left hip back, right hip forward, neutral pelvis. And inhale, return the right leg to meet the left. Shake it out if you need to. Come to stand in mountain pose, feet together, Tadasana, arms by the side. Maybe return the hands to the heart center. Take a moment to acknowledge where you are in your body right now. What do you notice about your body? What do you notice about your breath, heart, your pelvis, your legs? What do you notice emotionally? What do you notice mentally? And we'll make our way onto our back on our mat. Lying on our back with our feet on the mat to start, we're going to bring our right ankle on top of our left knee. And if you look down in between your legs, you might see an upside down triangle. If you're already feeling a mild to moderate sensation in the outside of your right hip, stay right here. If you're not feeling much of anything, I invite you to slowly start to bring that right foot off of the mat, bringing the left knee closer towards the head. It could be helpful here to grab onto the back of the left thigh or even the front of the left knee with the hands and hug that leg into the chest. Or not, you can also place it on a wall, that left foot on a wall. You might not even need to do anything with it to feel it in the outside of the right hip. But wherever you are, relax that right leg. And exhale, release the left foot to the mat. Take the right ankle off of left. Bring the left ankle on top of right. Same thing on this side. If you already feel a mild to moderate sensation in the outside of the left hip, stay right here. If you don't, bring that right foot off of the mat any amount until you feel a mild to moderate sensation in the outside of the left hip. You can choose to grab onto the back of the right hamstring or the front of the knee or the shin of the right leg. Wherever you are, completely relax that left leg. And exhale, release the right foot to the mat. Return the left foot to the mat. On the exhale, roll into fetal position on the left side, stacking the right hip on top of left, right shoulder on top of left, right hand on top of left. Inhale, reach that right arm across the sky over to the mat behind you for a simple spinal twist. If you're gazing over at your right hand, you can intensify the twist. If you would like to open up the right shoulder, you might choose to look over at the left hand. So choosing what feels best in your body, and then completely relax into the twist. If you need to make any additional adjustments to your upper or lower body, you can. Relaxing every muscle, surrendering into the pose. Inhale, bring the right arm across the ceiling over to meet the left. Pausing in fetal position for a moment before rolling onto the back. Taking a full body stretch by inhaling the arms up overhead, legs are out straight in front of you, getting as long and tall as you possibly can on the mat. And then exhale, rolling into fetal position on the right side, stacking the left hip on top of right, left shoulder on top of right, left hand on top of right. Inhale, reach that left hand across the sky over to the mat behind you. Same thing on this side, looking over at the left hand would intensify the twist. Looking over at the right hand would open up the left shoulder. You can make any adjustments that you need to the upper or lower body to feel comfortable in your twist. And then completely surrender to the mat, relaxing every muscle. Inhale, bring that left arm across the sky over to meet the right. Pausing in fetal position for a moment before rolling onto the back. This time you have an option to take a full body stretch or any other pose that your body is calling you to do today. If you're doing a full body stretch, take up all the space, getting as long and tall as you possibly can. And when you are ready, find a comfortable Savasana pose today. Maybe you choose to put your feet up on a wall, having them slightly elevated in a resting position. Maybe you choose to enter Supta Baddha Konasana or a reclined butterfly pose like I am in by bringing the soles of the feet to touch and opening the knees wide. Maybe you choose just to lie flat on the back. Your hands can be down by the sides, palms facing up, or anywhere where it's comfortable for you. Maybe you choose to enter Savasana through cactus arms or resting the hands somewhere on the body. But wherever you are, as we enter this resting pose, give your body permission to release and relax every muscle in the body, starting with the feet and the legs, giving them permission to rest heavy. You might even say to yourself or out loud, I give you permission to rest. Relaxing the belly, relaxing the shoulders, the arms and the hands, allowing them to rest heavy and give you permission to rest. Relaxing the neck and the head and all of the muscles on the face, including your tongue, your jaw, your eyes, and your eyebrows. Feeling completely supported by the earth beneath you as you receive the benefits from today's practice. Take a full deep inhale in through the nose, filling the belly, the rib cage, and the chest with breath. Notice any sensations that enter the body with the breath. Taking a moment to wiggle the fingers and the toes, bringing slow, gentle, and mindful movements back into the body. Maybe rock your head from left to right like you're shaking your head no, but slowly. If your legs are on a wall or in another position, very carefully straighten them. When you're ready, rolling into fetal position on the right side, keeping the eyes closed and pausing there for a moment. And when you're ready, making your way back to a comfortable seated position. You need to elevate the hips by sitting on a prop. I invite you to do so. Returning to that long, tall spine, shoulders drawn away from ears. Bringing both hands to heart center, one over the other, just like we started class with today. Taking a moment to acknowledge what your experience is right now on the mat physically, mentally, and emotionally. Honor your process that you went through throughout this practice, processing the previous year and setting intentions for this new year, honoring your mantra, maybe choosing to repeat it to yourself now out loud or to yourself. And I invite you throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year to return to this mantra that you're setting for yourself. Bringing hands to heart center, prayer position, honoring your practice as I honor yours. May your practice be you. Thank you very much for sharing your practice this evening with me. I bow in gratitude of each of you. Wishing you all a wonderful year. Thank you all.